Welcome back. Thinking Beers, episode 7. I'm here with my friend that always looks like a leprechaun and has a unique frame, Joseph.
What the hell? What was that? Pat, cut that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's insane.
I just miss you, bro. I had to throw some jabs early.
Yeah, unique in the way that the male physique has never reached this pinnacle. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, bro. I mean, but I do love your shirt.
Thank you, dude.
Absolutely love it, dude. Babytron.
One of my goats.
That would be the ideal first guest.
Yeah.
The ideal, like, if we could have one guest, he can sit right in the middle.
That interview he had with Adam 22 where he's reading his old lyrics and he goes, I heard your grandma has cancer. I feel bad for her, but before she dies, I'm going to scam her first. And Babytron smoking a blunt, he goes, Young Tron was tripping, bro.
Yep. Shout out Detroit rappers.
Shout out.
You got the red
Rio, RMC Mike, Crispy Life Kid, Babytron. Shout out the boys.
We're both repping Detroit, and there's a Kiss album in the middle. So
yes,
that's
sir.
Kinda,
homegrown.
Hey, we're here. But no, happy to be back. Views have been rapidly declining, so go subscribe.
Please.
We really care about subs on YouTube more than a lot of things, so please go subscribe. 39% of the way to Toledo.
Yep.
But with that, we know our true fan base now. We don't have the fake fans no more. We got the real fans. So if you're watching episode 7, if you're tapped into this episode and tuning in right now, we love you.
Yeah.
And you're our favorite people. So go spread the word. Working on getting merch out there. Working on new content too. My clip from last night has 2 views. So we're moving at a rapid pace.
Come on. That was good content though. We're really trimming the fat. The ultimate goal with the podcast, get down to 7 listeners, just our closest friends and family, an exclusive group. But also, don't forget, we have the Lakers to make the Western Conference Finals bet still going on to buy a new camera. Also, shout out the new camera angle. Comment down below if you like it. But by the time this comes out next Saturday, you guys will kind of know already how they're doing in their series with the Timberwolves. But just spilled the beer. My bad, Chris.
Well,
sorry about that.
On that note.
Yeah. Shout out, though. LeBron, not worried about the Timberwolves. LeBron is the GOAT, you could say, of basketball. To us, Coors is the GOAT of beer. We said it last episode. We're going to be trying some new beers, seeing if there is a new GOAT out there that we just might not be too familiar with. So today, we're going to be trying Sapporo.
Let's look at this. Little Instagram show. Boom.
Yep. Get the hand behind it.
That's a beautiful, beautiful looking.
Yeah. I believe it's a Japanese piece of
premium.
brewery.
Actually, let me see it. Let me read it. We got premium beer, 12 fluid ounces, pretty standard. Discover the perfectly balanced taste that's irresistible to all as you share rich moments with this masterpiece of the brewer's art.
It smells like it. It honestly smells like the nectar of the gods.
And we're about to share some rich moments.
It feels great running down my leg right now.
So cheers, brother. Let's rate it.
Cheers to that. We're going to be rating it different scales each time. Today's scale is going to be colors. Chris will be going first.
Orange.
That's a good one. Honestly, I'll give it a seafoam green. But fuck that. Let's get down to brass tacks, Chris. How the hell have you been? What have you been up to?
Dude, life has been progressing, man. Life has been moving. Life has been moving slow. Life has been moving fast. Somebody at my work the other day said, what if we after every Friday said, see you for 1,552 more Fridays. Like you just had to put in perspective. Like that's how many more weeks you have of work.
Oh God.
Not to get sad. Things have been good though. For Chat That Cares, dating update. Things are going smooth. Things are going splendidly. I'm a happy guy. On Wednesday, she said, let me make you some dinner. Crunchwrap Supreme, bro.
No shit.
Homemade Crunchwrap Supreme.
Me and Marissa have had that twice in the last 2 weeks. Oh, it's so good.
Did you find tortillas that are big enough to fit all the way around, or do you cut one or whatever and put on top and then fold it all in?
So we do one large one and then one smaller one on the inside that basically gets engulfed by the larger one.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, so good. You like tomatoes?
I didn't do tomatoes in mine. I normally like to do refried beans as my adhesive agent in there to seal everything together. Didn't have the problem with refried beans for 2 people.
They don't normally put that in a contract.
No, it's only in Mexican food. Though.
When you go to Taco Bell, do you request refried beans?
I don't know if you can, but no, it's just like a good sealant to lock everything into place. But the problem is, for two people, you really only consume half of a can of refried beans, if that. And then what do you do with the other half? You got to throw it away.
Yeah.
Marissa last time left it in the fridge for a month. Disgusting.
Oh,
So this time we just went with some queso.
Gross. But no, they were great. I was like, I'm eating way too much. Like I ate like
how many?
Basically, I had the trial one. She was like, I've never tried this, so like try the first one. And I ate basically the whole thing, like minus 2 bites. And then
did you just Gordon Ramsay her? You're like, this bloody tastes like hell.
I was like, no, just put the next one in a little longer.
Okay, so you did. You gave her some tips, tips.
Yeah,
it was a trial for a reason.
Trying to coach.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. But they were fantastic, dude. They were perfect. I feel like the tomatoes make the crunch wrap. That's why I liked them. They were great. So that went well. And then basically after, when you're in the beginning stages, you're watching a lot of shows. You're watching a lot of movies. Finished Severance, which Joe and I are going to catch up on later. Not in the pod, but I don't know. Ending, mid, I guess could be better, but that's the only way to set up for a new season. So
yeah, I hated it. I love the rest of the show. Just for the record, put on Prince over here. I told everyone about Severance like 2 episodes into the first season. Everyone wants to act hip to it now. If you ever want to know what shit's going to be cool in 3 years, talk to you, boy.
Yeah, Joe do be ahead of the curve on some cinemas, some films. But we've also been watching Harry Potter. Harry Potter, I relate to.
Why?
Always since a kid, because also doesn't he kind of feel like an only child?
Well, he is.
Right?
He technically has his like step brother or whatever it would be when you get adopted,
right.
but he's a total dickhead.
The guy that's like,
fat little
sucks.
idiot.
Yeah. It reminds me of a Neville looking type of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's terrible, whatever. He's a large, fat loser. But only child. And when people go up to him for the first time, they're like, "Oh, are you Harry Potter? Are you Harry Potter? Nice to meet you, Harry Potter." They say his first and last name.
Yeah.
And people do that for me. I don't know if I want to dox myself and say, well, I guess whatever. You guys can find out pretty easily. But
it's the only 2 people we follow on the Instagram as you and me.
People always are like, "Oh, are you Chris Blank? Are you Chris Blank?" Like, what? Why, dude? Too from college. Like, I guess I don't know. Is that the question I have for you? Is like, are you a superior human being when people know you by your first and last name versus your first name?
If anything, I think it just means you have a common first name. Your full name together just rolls out the tongue. Chris Kroll. I just doxed you. Bleep that. We'll cut that out. Pat.
Joe Smolbolski.
Oh,
I feel like you also are in a similar case.
Well, my name does not roll off the tongue at all. It's a similar name, but Joe, I feel like now is less common. But I think your name just rolls off the tongue a little bit easier.
It's kind of crazy, bro. It's like most people, it's like, "Oh, do you know Joe?" And then it's like describe features about Joe. Like, the guy that wears a Babytron shirt with the khaki shorts and like,
I'm pretty identifiable.
Looks like
every other white dude ever.
I think I saw. Did you see the new like guy in the Fantastic Four? I forget his name. I don't watch
the Thing
movies. Yeah, I thought about you right when I saw it.
Because my lads, he's pretty yoked. Rock.
Well, no, I didn't think it'd be It's not like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just his head, like a mushroom rock. Mushroom rock is a good word for your
thing,
head,
man. What the fuck?
Mushroom rock.
It is funny though. It makes more sense if you go up to somebody in real life and you go Chris Kroll, but Harry Potter, it makes no sense because you can see the lightning bolt scar, and he's the most infamous person of all time.
But here's,
I'm pretty sure.
The reason I asked the question is like, think about everybody you say first and last name for, either really good, really bad. LeBron James,
Osama bin Laden,
Adolf Hitler.
True.
Like
Kobe, you only say his first name.
True.
He had some bad stuff. He had some good stuff. Maybe that's why.
True. Adam Sandler.
True. Can't think of any other ones.
Shaq, you say first name. No, but I feel like, LeBron, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. A lot of for people.
It's also just a lot of
Baby Tron.
Yeah, Mr. Tron. Yeah, it was funny though. We looked up what our last name means. I know what mine means. I looked it up a while ago. Got it tatted on the arm right here. But my last name in Polish,
that was his rapper name back in the day.
Back in the day, back when I was
Show the tat, bro. Show the tat.
I don't know. Can you see it?
Turn a little.
if I like, I have to like bring it in.
You're good.
You see
You're
it?
good.
It says
Well, he's
Bosky.
got the Bosky tag,
Yeah,
bro.
but essentially, and gotta stop saying those LYs, but in Polish, my last name means SMOL, means small, and then Bosky means God. So my last name means small God. And then we took a little peek.
Of course, it means small God.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Which I think that's like what is that word called for like is it like a dichotomy? I forget what it's called. When two words mean like the opposite things.
Oh God, I'm gonna feel like such an idiot. It's the opposite of a simile. It's I don't know, whatever. Pat, Google it.
Yeah,
we're too dumb,
something, bro. Something maybe I don't know, but
antonym.
Sure,
it's an antonym.
And it is an
Chat, comment down below if it's an antonym.
Joe's name is an antonym. Small God,
dude.
Small God's crazy
because I'm a big God.
You could just be cool, crazy, silly, curly, like me. That's all my name means.
Curly.
My name just means curly. Which that's why I like when Joe was
Homie's named after the Three Stooges.
Joe's like, look up what, yeah, for real. Which I kind of agree with. I don't hate that, you know.
Because out here talking about, nah, however they talked.
But I will say that, you know, I didn't even know that names had a meaning until Joe brought it up. I didn't think that was even a real thing. I
think all last names were words coming from somewhere. I don't know why. That's why I looked it up. I was trying to figure out my rapper name. It fit. God. But no, I actually got to meet the Bay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, you know, I mean, Joe gets like fresh off a work happy hour and he's like looking to have a good time, which, you know, you can always on a Friday night text me having a good time. Like, what are you doing? And we'll link and we'll have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
If we go out solo, good time. We go out together, great time.
Yeah. It was I wouldn't say a difficult situation, but I had my price point to where I would not order the Uber unless it got below the certain price point. And I was just sitting there drinking some beers, blasting some. I think I was blasting the T Grizzly Songs Robbery series, just getting ramped up, ready to go see Chris. Uber prices were only rising. It was like a stock market where eventually I just had to pull the trigger, get in while the market was hot.
Yeah. Well, he was like, if it's under, what was it? What was the number? Like 35?
Something around there.
And well, it was great because I started texting Joe all these different addresses he could have went to.
Yeah.
And he started being like, oh, this one's more, this one's cheaper, this one's whatever. And then eventually he was like, it was $1 cheaper than whatever. He just texted me, it's $1 cheaper. And I didn't check my phone for like 10 minutes because I was with, you know, and then I check it and he's like, all right, I'm 6 minutes away. I was like, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
I'll always pull through.
It was so funny. But no, we linked up I love Detroit, but we went to a bar that's like 3 levels on a corner of a parking garage, which is, I love that place. They play vinyls upstairs, bar first floor, and then basement's like low key club type vibes. But it was a good time. And then we went to another place that was like bar upstairs, kind of clubby, but it's not even really like a club. It's just like small house music, like they play vinyls or whatever.
Wasn't anything crazy.
Like it's like you're 40 people or 30 people versus hundreds or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But she was cool. I felt like Chris's dad standing there with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Like, little lady, you better have him home by 10 p.m.
I'm always like, you got to get a little nervous when you're introducing somebody that you like to Joe.
I had to feel her
out. As a close friend of Joe. Because, like,
I'm harsh.
If you can't get down with Joe and, like, the way that we go out and take a bunch of shots and, like, the way that we just, like, have a good time all the time. And everything's always, like, I feel like when we talk, our conversations end in laughs more times than they end in silence. Or, like, yes, no, like, oh, I agree, I disagree, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like always, like, I'm always like smiling or laughing. So, like, that's what I love about you, bro. And that's why it's always fun to introduce you to someone new. But no, it was a good night.
Yeah. The one hitch I would say for the entire night, nothing actually really happened. I would say, I think it was at the second bar, just got this weird taste in my mouth. A taste that just was reminiscent of what I would imagine it would taste like if I got drugged. And so I got it in my head. I'm kind of a head case sometimes, so I got it in my head that I got drugged. And I started freaking out. I was like, dude, that random guy drugged me. Which obviously no random dude. Why me? Would they possibly waste a drug on? Yeah. But No,
Well,
it tastes,
if you know Joe too, you know that when we go out, this guy's gonna just wander up to rando tall guys. You always target tall people,
true.
and he always goes up to people and he's just like, "Wow, you're so tall and handsome. I'm like, what's your name?"
Handsome, not so. Come on. I'll compliment the boys.
and then
I'm trying to create an environment where somebody will come up to me and reciprocate.
and then he's like really leaning in and like what do you have to say, bro? What do you have to say?
What picture are you trying to paint here? Like grinding on these dudes.
So it was funny.
I just go up. I say,
like,
what up to the boy? A lot of times I'll test out some jokes on them, see if it flies. Because drunk people at the bar are typically pretty honest. It did not land. Not a single joke landed that night. 3 people told me to fuck off. Another guy said, it's okay. So probably have to put that joke on the back burner.
You be practicing. Well, we should tell everybody, like, Joe is practicing for stand-up.
I've done it quite a few times.
And, you know, he always is like has a kind of like jokes or like things in mind. So maybe he'll rip some eventually. Maybe we'll have, you know, a segment where he gets my reaction to some of them. But I'm a big Joe supporter, so like it's hard for me to have a bad reaction to anything. So
one of my classic ones, if you guys haven't seen me live, I just heard that India put man on the moon. That's one small step for man deep, one giant leap for mankind. It's a classic joke.
And that's pretty much how a lot of them hit. But
no, I had a theory. I've come to this theory now after the fact where it was just a weird taste in my mouth. So it could just be the fact I had a coffee-flavored drink that I've never had before. Could have definitely caused it. My other theory is I was ripping Zins the entire night. Very easily could have put one in my mouth with a hole in it, and just chemicals were searing the inside of my tongue for 12 hours.
True, that's valid. Well, that's partially what I kept saying to you at the beginning when you first mentioned it. I was like, dude, we have had like 3 espresso martinis, which both of us don't normally drink espresso martinis.
Because last time I checked, I don't have a badge. So.
But they're so good, though. Sometimes.
They're good. They're really good.
They're so great. Dude, you know that the 3 beans stand for something? It's like good life, good wife, good sex, or something like that. It's like some crazy shit. The 3, and if you only get 2, then it's like bad luck.
3 beans?
On the top of an espresso martini, if you only get 2 beans, it's bad luck.
Oh, never knew that. I didn't know there were beans in them. There were beans in those? I probably sucked up one of the beans, dude. I had no clue. That's wild. Neither here nor there. Next day, wake up early in the morning.
Beans, bro. Coffee beans.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
I've never eaten a coffee bean. That's probably what it was. I had a fucking coffee bean in my mouth. I was like, what is this? This is clearly drugs. So they did slip something into my drink. I knew it. You were saying I was wrong.
It's valid. It's valid. So the funniest part is the next morning, bro. The next morning, Joe goes home.
I'm laughing thinking about this. It was like 10 hours after this.
Yeah.
It was a pretty late night, and I had to wake up to go to this personal trainer at 8 a.m. What did I text you?
This guy's texting me at like 9 a.m., like 10 a.m. And he's like, I'm on my way to the personal trainer. And I'm like, how are you feeling, bro? Because like the last I remember him was like, we walked straight out of a bar. He got into the Uber and then I walked back.
Flawlessly, I might add.
Yeah, I mean, we always have good timing, bro. I will.
Facts.
Like, whoa. But he hops in the Uber. He gets home. I don't really talk to him the rest of the night. I should have texted you and been like, tell me when you get home.
We always assume the other person gets home safe, which we shouldn't, because 40% of the time we don't.
Yes, more stories to come. But anyways, we are texting in the morning the next day. And I knew Joe was like, I have this personal trainer to go to, like, whatever. But it was at this really nice new gym and everything, and it was pretty early. But what I left off on was like, I'm feeling kind of crazy. And he was honestly like, I've seen Joe in lots of environments, and he was kind of, dancing a little more than he normally does. But same Joe. It was the vibes. It could have been just like whatever.
It was the coffee bean. I was jacked up. Exactly. Sucked down 3 beans, dude.
Was off the yaffine. But he gets home. He's texting me, and he's texting me simultaneously as he's on his way to the personal trainer, and he's like, I still taste like I have drugs in my mouth. Like I taste like drugs. And he's like, also like, this personal trainer is great. Like it's something like I've never experienced before. Like he's giving me a whole personal program. Like I'm having like such a great time. Not verbatim, just like whatever.
I probably was selling drugs. I was like, this guy's great. He has an eagle for a face, and his entire workout facility is actually God's, whatever. But it was cool. It was one of those introduction personal trainer visits where the first thing he had us do was fill out this form, filling out some basic information, what your goals are. As soon as Marissa started reading out to me what the form said, I knew I was fucked. This guy's about to tear into me. First question, when was your last physical? 2017. I knew he was going to be upset with that one. Next question, how many meals do you average?
How did you know when your last physical was? I don't even know when mine was.
Well, you know how I used to do them for sports?
Yeah, that's probably mine too.
Yeah, it was the last time I did it. But in retrospect, that was 8 years ago. I've never had somebody look at my body since then. A third of my life, a doctor has not looked at my body.
Same.
But next question, how many meals do you average a day? 1. Knew he would hate that. Third question, how many ounces of water do you drink a day? Figured somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 12. Not good.
1 water bottle?
At most, dude. At most. And then Marissa filled out the rest of my information. Last question down the page said, what are your goals? And it had a bunch of lines. And I just told Marissa, write down skinny. So Marissa, they're talking, and the guy's like, oh, this is all good. You're drinking a lot of water and all this. He looks at mine, his eyes just got all big, and he's like, you haven't had a physical in 8 years? How do you know if something's wrong? And I go, I don't.
I feel great.
That's the benefit.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for those medical bills, dude.
Hey, what's that saying? What you don't know can't hurt you?
I don't think that's true.
Well, it's fact.
I could have a horrible
what you don't know about can't hurt you.
It could definitely kill me.
Well, that's a saying now.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm going to be honest, you should probably at least have some lunch or something, and maybe drink 1 more water bottle a day. I feel like you'd have a much higher quality life. I was like, nerd. So next part, no. I mean, I've been drinking a little bit more water, and I actually did buy some protein shakes. Gonna supplement that in as a lunch, a little light lunch. Just try to get some calories in. I'll see if it changes
protein
anything.
Shake?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Why?
I've been making these great sandwiches, dude. Kalamata olive loaf sourdough. I got this hot muffalata mix, which I don't even know. It's like carrots, celery, olives, chopped up real small, hot, spicy, mustard, banana pepper, salami, cheese. So good for lunch. A couple days a week, and then I do like my ground beef and rice. I also tried to mistake this week meatloaf from the just like cold, like it was like above the ground beef, like in the cold section, I guess, at the grocery store. Terrible meatloaf. I ate the whole thing though, but it was 63 grams of protein.
Solid.
I was like,
that's some good
this.
macros there. But yeah, no. So after that though, we went through the sheet and he takes us out there. He was like, you can't do the advanced shit unless you know the basic shit. And he was looking at the way I stood. If you guys can't tell by my posture from the podcast, I'm perpetually hunched over with my gut as far out as possible. I have horrible posture. I stand like a whatever came before Homo sapien or Homo sapien.
Homo sapien.
Homeo. I didn't mean to say that. Homo sapien. Whatever came before that, I forget what they're called, but like the one in between, where it's like, the diagram of the monkey, and that's the dude like a little bit hunched over than humans.
Yeah,
I was the dude that's a little bit hunched over. I got some Neanderthal in my blood. Dude.
Yeah.
But he's like, put your shoulders back, you gotta fix that. And then he's like, now let me see you walk. And when I walk, my arms don't swing at all.
Yeah, he walks like a plank.
Yeah. So he's like, dude, come on, like that's the most natural human thing is just to swing your arms, just act like you're doing a little bit. So whatever, did it all. He was complimenting me though. He was like, let me see your guys' push-up form. Started ripping some push-ups. He's like, nice, dude. And he was complimenting me. He's like, you got some big shoulders.
Your arms are used to being in a slot.
True.
They're not used to like going out here like most people.
Yeah.
Yours are in the slot. So you got good push-up form.
Yeah.
Also, it's all like bodies. That's what I kind of realized recently. Like my dad, when I was talking to him recently, for some reason I started asking him like, why are my shoulders and chest just so big? And so like my whole life, like no matter what I do, just massive. So it's sort of like, he goes, that's just how our whole family is. You're always gonna be like that. He goes, I've also never had the V like the V.
I don't want to say it, but
we know the V.
Cum gutters.
You want the V, yeah.
I said
it. So maybe one day, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I want to start running. I almost went for a run today inside the gym. But anyway, didn't you go golfing after that too?
I did, yes. Nothing too remarkable. It was me and Marissa scrambling from the front tees. We ended at a 49, but I was getting livid because open day on the course, not like a ton of people out there, but the group in front of us, classic group, 8 dudes all golfing together. Why would you do that? Yeah. Stopping on the greens too, taking pictures with each other and practice putting every hole. Dude, come on. So it got to the point.
It's opening day. Come on.
Yeah. I'm not that good at golf either. Normally can't drive the ball too well. It was maybe my anger. I just took it out. It was the 9th hole, and right when we were about to be done, ripped my driver, the best I ever have, dead straight like 250 after Marissa said they were gone, but the hole went up a hill, and I hit the ball, and Marissa said it was going in slow motion. The ball was going, and they turn around, and they're walking down the hill, like right towards the ball, like looking on the ground, and I was like yelling 4. I was like 4, 4, and then Marissa said it just like landed like right next to them or maybe touched them, and then they just looked around. She said they picked something up and walked away. My blood started boiling. I thought they picked up my ball because I hit up on them, when realistically I didn't.
Right.
And then we drove up there, couldn't find the ball.
Damn.
They were gone by that point. I was so blood red mad. But there was another ball laying around the vicinity that I just hit. They took my goddamn ball, and it was the best drive I ever hit. I was like 20 yards from the green, dead straight.
Bro. At least I would just drop and no stroke.
I didn't count the stroke. There was another random ball there.
So they picked up yours instead of theirs.
I think they were looking for their ball initially. I hit up on them. They got mad, took my ball left, found the new ball.
You found theirs.
So mad, though.
They hit
shot at 49, though. Broke 50.
Hey, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
That's technically breaking 100.
Making some
strides. You
strides.
just have time. That's the way I look at it. First segment, we're back. Another classic. We're probably going to do like this one in Life Enhancer most of the weeks.
If we get something.
I don't know. Gem of the Week is just like another way to update you with just like not the most basic things that are going on in our life.
It's almost like current news.
Like Joe's considering a new car too.
Yeah.
But we'll TBD on that. And then also my car's like, I called my mom the other day. I was like, what do I do if my car breaks down on the side of the road? Like, I just feel like it could happen. 2011 Ford Escape.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's been making noise.
How'd you ask your mom?
It's been making noise. Well, I called my mom, and then Brian's on the phone. And Brian's like, you do this, bring it here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Marissa's car is so old. I think we're going to buy a new car. My plan is to just put her car in neutral, push it into a lake, and just cancel the registration, all that shit.
Call the insurance company and be like, somebody's drove my car in a way.
Can we just have $200, please?
Right. But no, Gem of the Week. I saw a documentary earlier, made Joe watch it because it's ridiculous.
The documentary is funny. It was one of those short form YouTube channels where it's one of those guys, they talk all the same. And then this happened, and
sometimes
it was a good breakdown
into those though.
The infographic.
Sometimes they're right to the point, which is what I like about it.
Yeah, it's like it was bang, bang, bang.
It was like 12 minutes.
Perfect.
Or something.
It gave us every morsel of information
exactly.
you could want to know.
Royal Caribbean, 2013. You said, I think, Texas to Mexico somewhere.
Yep, Galveston, Texas to somewhere in Mexico. Round trip.
Yeah, round trip. I don't know how long the actual cruise was, but
it was supposed to be 4 days.
Okay. And
fire
happens on the cruise. And they lose AC, septic. They lose, like, power. They lose... they have no more way to cook food and everything, too.
The biggest thing they lost, though, the stabilization feature. I don't know how that works on a massive cruise ship, but that feeds into it. The boat with the winds was unable to stabilize itself.
Yeah. And they had these, like, tiny tugboats that came out there to try and help them.
Yeah, like something you'd see in the fucking, what's the river in New York? Like the shit that's just, like, going in, like, inland.
Yeah.
And it was pulling this. I think they said the ship weighed 200,000 pounds or 200,000 tons.
Tons.
I had no idea how these things
that like I would fish off of, like a small boat.
It was tiny,
small tiny boat on the lake. So there's 2 of them, and they were like, it wasn't working, and the ship drifted off. So once this happened, as soon as it happened, the crew or whoever was in charge said, "Open bar." They said.
Before that happened, though, I thought this was fucking hilarious. I didn't know if you'd bring it up, but initially everything turns off except for the emergency lighting and all that, and they still had access to the intercoms for a brief section. And it was like this lady, the captain over the intercoms, and she was like, all right, guys, got a little bit of a fire, nothing to worry about, everything's going to be fine. And then as soon as she finished that sentence, everything turned off.
Yeah,
so like the last thing you heard is like, don't worry about it. And then it's like pure panic. Everyone started to spaz. It was at like 5 a.m.
Yeah. Which would be terrifying, first of all. And like, sorry if you're watching and you were on that cruise, give me a call. Like, I'll DM us. I'll give you my number.
We'll get you on the pod.
Yeah, facts. But the funniest shit. So that all happens. And then like, I would say probably a couple hours after that, they go open bar for everybody.
Like, this will boost morale.
Which I think on cruises, like, you can buy the package. So some people are probably like, I already was an open bar. And other people will be like, oh, lit. But either way, people rip the open bar before they realized no septic.
Yeah.
And then they go back to their place. And then to your point, the destabilizer, moving the ship a lot, no septic, every toilet's clogged, shit everywhere. Shit flying all over the walls, all over the floor, seeping into the carpets of the hallways in all their room and everything. And everybody was like, we have to escape this. Like, there's just literally shit everywhere.
Yeah. Well, they knew too that the septic went out, so they gave them those bio waste bags, and they were telling people to shit in these bags. They were like, if you're pissing, go in the shower. Right. If you're shitting, shit in this bag. Which, why would that even be that much better? Because then you just have bags of shit. And they were putting it in the hallway.
Yeah, they told them to put in the hallway.
That's not that much better.
And it was like, well, so they originally.
Also, how would you possibly shit into a bag? I couldn't, even if I tried.
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what you do there, but you immediately, like, all that happens, and then they thought it was going to be 2 days, and that's already happening.
They like lied to them,
and then, well, no, then
like, don't worry, these tiny boats can get you back there,
right?
Stat.
And then they were like, nope, the boat's drifting. It's actually going to be 4 more days, or like whatever. Yeah, right. And then they had to turn
because they had to switch ports
and go to like Alabama or something.
Yep,
and
go to Mobile.
And they turn around, and then that's when everybody realizes, like, we don't have food for this time. So they have to start getting, like, care packages.
They were getting them cheese sandwiches, I think. You had one allotment of cheese sandwiches and, like, a basic broth stew every day. And the one lady was saying she would go up there and you're getting it for everyone in your room. So you'd have, like, 5.
Yeah, and people
there'd be some dude behind you like, fat ass, I'm going to die. It's like, all right, dude. You went, like, 12 hours without food.
Also, the part that I think is funny, too, is they mentioned very briefly in the clip, like, or in the video, they go, 2 people had medical conditions and were taken off separately, and it's like, you couldn't have just like thrown 5 more people on the boat.
Come on, like somebody,
like, let the family go with them, like somebody.
Yeah,
but
it's funny too. Like on that same vein, right? Yeah, like some people have medical conditions, but all these people absolutely freaking out. They're all well off. It's not like,
you're on
in the grand scheme of stories and like inconveniences, these people having to spend like a day on a poop ship when like they probably gross $300,000 a year. It's like, all right, do I really feel bad for these people?
I just thought it was funny that they like started bringing all the mattresses out in like the deck and like building like a shade area by the pools. Like they had all the sheets above, and then they were like, there's a helicopter that's got to pick up this lady that's going to die. So, like
we're saved.
We gotta, but it just pick up one lady.
It's just for this one girl that has diarrhea. Yeah. But they said with the AC, it was unbearable to be in your rooms because it was 100 degrees with just festering shit. So, like, did that, and backtracking a little bit after that open bar, one of my favorite parts of the whole story was everyone just gets hammered at the open bar. First thing they start doing, dismantling Tent City. They're picking up everything and just whipping it overboard because they're hammered, which is exactly what I think I'd be doing.
Exactly. Like, just throwing everything that you need off. You're like, I love this place. But yeah, bro, that was the shining light in my night this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do you think we would do if we were in that situation?
I think to your point, like, take advantage of the open bar.
You have to. I'd probably stash it.
You immediately get away from the poop and you start just pooping wherever you want to, really. Maybe I was thinking, I would have told everybody, just poop off the side. Poop off the side.
That's so sketchy, bro.
We'll build like this little platform you go sit out on, poop in the
What
water.
if you slip a little bit? You're dead.
I would immediately, as soon as we lost everything, go poop in the water.
Dude, I don't think you're grasping how scary that would be to be sitting with your ass hanging off of the side of a cruise ship. We're like 3 stories
They can
down.
make it look safe, dude.
I don't hate it. I was thinking more of like a mutiny. I would think they're lying to us. Where are they taking us? I get a coalition of the crew members. We're storming the captain's, quarters, taking over. This is our ship now.
Yeah, no, that's valid. That's very valid.
It's like that Malaysia flight that went missing. Is this actually a malfunction of the plane? Or is
True.
this just, the person controlling everything
True.
going a little haywire?
True.
We got to act fast.
But no, what is your gem of the week this week?
Mine was, I just rewatched the classic movie Terminator. Honestly, I don't have a ton to say about it. And the stuff that I'm going to say is contradicting myself. I hate being that guy where it's poking holes in movie plots or saying, yeah, like that would happen. But the way this movie was written is just fucking hilarious. You've seen it, right? The first one?
Yeah.
So the beginning of it's kind of basic sci-fi. You see a couple people come back from the future. It's focused on this girl where the one person that came back is clearly trying to kill her, and the other guy that came back is trying to save her. That all is good and dandy. But when the guy that's trying to save her picks her up, and then they get arrested by the cops, and he's in the police station, the cops are interrogating him. This was the first part that made me laugh. The cops are interrogating him, talking down to him, obviously, and going, oh, so you're telling me you're from the future. Tell me a little bit about it. And he's getting blood red mad. He's like, what do you guys not understand? The cyborgs clearly took over the future. They're killing all of us. We live underground, and I have to save this girl. Are you guys idiots? And he's acting like they're in the wrong, and they're like, yeah, all right, buddy. Like, clearly not. Like they're trying to portray it like,
right.
This should make sense to you guys. Why don't you just believe me and let me out of here? And then the whole, I don't want to say like the pinnacle, but one of the main plot points of the movie is obviously that the guy that came back ends up being the father of the guy that sent him back, right? So it's a little bit of like a time paradox thing where he had sex with the lady that he went back to save.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a time
so
loop.
long, I kind of forget about it.
It's like a time loop. So John Connor, main guy, sends this guy back. The guy that he sent back has sex with Sarah Connor. That baby, John Connor, who sends him back. So it's like a time loop thing. But the whole like precipice of the reason why he wanted to come back and save this lady is because John Connor gave him a picture of this girl. So when he confesses all of this, she's like, why would you do this? Why would you sacrifice yourself just for me? He's like, I had this picture of you and you kind of looked hot as fuck. So I just decided to come back. And like, it was like the whole thing. It lasted 30 seconds. Next scene, hottest sex montage of all time. Just both of them completely naked. And then boom, John Connor is there now, but it was just like very,
it's also
brush over plot point.
The whole concept of robots and everything kind of more relevant now,
Yeah, I mean, it was innovative for its time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when did that come out?
75, I think.
Dang.
75 or 85.
Dang. Why were they thinking about robots? Like, they didn't even have electrical.
They used to do.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, everybody always wants to be innovative and think about what could potentially happen in the future. And look what Black Mirror is doing now, except that's a little bit closer to home because it's harder to imagine technology that we don't already have something similar to.
Right.
Yeah, but the only two other parts I thought were funny. So they're making these little like pipe bombs. They're throwing them at the robots, clearly not working until they have these pipe bombs. They're running away from him on the road, and this guy, the robot, decides to go into this. He steals a truck, right? Pretty innocuous truck. What you find out once you get into it is it's a tanker truck that's carrying 100,000 gallons of gasoline.
Yo.
Convenient for them because what do they have? Bombs.
Yep.
So naturally, they light one of the bombs, they put in the exhaust pipe. This thing, you can only imagine what 100,000 pounds of gas blowing up looks like. Massive explosion. Clearly decimates this robot. He's dead. Or is he?
Robot.
So it basically like melts all of his flesh off, and then it's his robot frame, which at this point is where the CGI kicks in.
Yeah, and it's just terrible.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Dude, you remember that
Yeah.
old Christmas movie where it's like, put one foot in front of,
Yeah.
and they're walking around claymation, so they're all like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's what this robot it's like crawling around, and she's like crawling away from it, and this guy's like the
Yeah.
worst CGI
Yeah,
of
yeah.
all time. So I just thought that was fucking hilarious that this was a groundbreaking movie from the time. I guarantee if you ask one of your parents, they were probably horrified at this movie at the time. Like, this is going to be
It's
real
kinda
life.
like Predator time too.
Yeah.
Like it was but honestly it's so much better than the movie. So
Yeah.
we might go see a movie after this potentially.
Facts.
We'll see.
It's an absolute classic, but again, I hate being that person like this is ridiculous, but if
Yeah.
I was alive back then, knowing what I know now, I could have wrote hit movie after hit movie. It was so easy.
True. So with that, life enhancers, bro.
Mhm.
I got a good one. This is just honestly, it's more of a personal life enhancer.
It's close to
I don't
home.
know how many of you guys can relate to this though. It's got
Who can
two
relate? Woo!
before I talk
Shout out
about
Logic.
it. Yeah, who can relate? I've been feeling low.
I just want to die.
I just want to be alive.
Yeah.
But Nikki, I'm
I'm a motherfucking slave to the nicotine. I was listening to that song in the 10th grade, like, why can't I break this?
These mango pods.
Yeah, they're crushing me, dude.
But geez, man. I have had a disease, and some will call it the white people disease.
Should I just, while you're laying this out, I'll just in the arms of the angel.
Yeah, facts. Donate.
Donate now. You can
donate by
save this young
subscribing.
man's arms.
Donate by any means possible. But I've had a
Venmo,
disease,
Cash
bro.
App.
Before I say what it is, the two nicknames for this are, well, I guess I came up with one. One of them I came up with. It's called the white people disease because somebody told me that it usually is in white people.
White people disease, we call that privilege.
Yep.
Shout out all my libs.
Not a lot of people can have this. So, so that's number one. Number two is the actual nickname, chicken skin.
Chicken skin, huh?
Yeah, bro.
Because it makes it all coarse or
And
something?
Joe's never feel it, bro.
Ooh.
Dude.
It feels like
feel
Braille.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh.
It is.
Is it
kinda
transferable?
crazy. I hope.
What?
And then we'll
Are
use
you
it
serious?
together, bro.
Did you actually not look that up?
But no, it's not transferable.
Oh, okay.
Bro. Dude, if it was transferable, that'd be bad. But I'd be using this now. No ad.
Put your hand behind it. Make sure they can really focus on. Mm-hmm.
Yep. It actually looks pretty good focus right here.
Yep.
Sarah V, you see that rough and bumpy skin. Because this is why.
Guy's built like
I
a
don't know if you guys
toad.
can see it. We got a little bumps. Flex. Yup. Been in the gym. And while I'm up here, grab the beer. But that is my life enhancer for the week. Is basically I'm going to start using that. You guys are going to be on the journey with me. We're going to cure my chicken skin disease.
We have to. It's clearly debilitating.
And hopefully it goes away.
What would you say the biggest impact this has had on your life?
Usually,
Give something to the people because we
usually-
have to stop this.
usually people don't know about it. I will say it's affected me my entire life. I'm not allergic to anything. The only thing I'm allergic to is grass, which is kind of weird.
Interesting.
But it's only if I like roll around in the grass. I only found out from playing football on grass fields.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just bumps all over my arms. It's like here to here. I feel like it just makes me look more tan or like red. Like I just have a red tint to my whole body. I do have rosacea on the face as well.
Shout out.
So, a lot of factors going against me here, but we're going to fix it. We're going to try and get better. We're going to try and improve. And I basically just put it on once in the morning, once at night. But that's my life enhancer.
Perfect. We can all cure this together. My life enhancer, actually something I've been not curing, but trying to fix in myself. I've always had somewhat of a patchy beard. I know the video quality is a little bit better now. So you guys might be able to tell the cheeks are coming in a little bit better. I always had somewhat of a chin strap, you might say.
Yeah,
But
it's like right here's the gap.
that's the gap. I got some gaps within my cheeks, so that's the problem. So my life enhancer is using a micro needle. Chris is not familiar. I'm going to lay it out for all you guys. It almost looks like what you would see with a razor, but at the end, instead of a razor, it's a little roller that has thousands of needles, tiny needles all over it. And all you're doing with it, rolling it wherever you need it to stimulate hair growth. So for me, I do it up in these corners, trying to get some hair growth. I do it on my cheeks. I do it right here because I'm
Does
trying to
it
get
hurt?
Yes. So extremely painful. That's the point I was going to get into. It is stabbing you millions of times all over your face.
Right.
And for some reason, the science behind it, you stab yourself and out of the open wounds that you have on your face, hair comes out.
You create like pores.
I guess. I have no idea. But every time after I did it this morning,
terrible. So I might hop on this wave.
I don't think so.
Does Marissa do it for you?
No, I do it.
You just roll it all over. Are you bleeding ever?
No, you don't bleed. No. But yeah, so like you roll it all over your face and it stimulates hair growth. I don't think it'll make hair grow where you don't already have pre-existing hair follicles, but it'll activate them and make them grow. So like since I've started doing it, it's obviously not made me have like a full beard or anything. It's probably not noticeable yet, but I'm feeling the baby hairs right here up in the corners. I got baby hairs everywhere, and I've only been doing it for 2 months, so I can already see some progress. You know, maybe 6 months from now, I'll be looking somewhat like Jason Momoa. That's the end goal here.
Yeah, you'll have to go to the tanning salon quite a bit.
You know, you're being a real fucking dick today. You piece of shit. Pat, cut that. I didn't say a thing about your rosacea, you piece of shit.
No, I do think I'm going to try it. I don't have that many more questions about microneedling. It's
pretty straightforward.
My beard is just like pubes on my face. So like I feel like it would help me. Joe's already got a better beard than I do.
Thank you. Better beard than most people. All I did, started using the microneedle, started using beard oil. I actually just got new beard oil. This one, sandalwood scented. It smells incredibly pleasant. I'm not using it today, so don't smell me, please. But it is doing wonders for my beard.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. We're both improving ourselves, and I might adapt his. And if he adapts my disease, then he will have to adapt.
Probably fucking do now. My hand's covered in it.
Yeah, he's fucked. So, Digesting Core Classic, last segment of the day. And we have one that occurred in my life over the past couple weeks here. So, lay out the story. This is actually the day after we went out in Detroit. I work in Detroit, and she drove me back to my parking garage because I left my car there, so I didn't spend money. And it's like right there. So it's like a 2-minute drive. So we go back there. There's a guy when we pull up and he's stuck on the way going out.
Stuck again? What are you doing, Steph?
Step, bro. I should mention prior, 2 lanes. 2 lanes going in, 2 lanes going out.
2 lanes. What is this, the green wave? Like Tulane College? This is why I should do stand-up more.
So with that, he's stuck. I go up to my car. I leave. He's stuck. And I'm leaving. Now, mind you, the only 2 ways to get in. You have a badge, like myself, or you pay, and they give you a ticket, and then you use the barcode on that ticket to leave.
Yeah.
And, like, it
As
just
most
felt super weird, bro. He was, like, out of his car, like, up against my window. Like, please, please, please. I'll pay you. I'll pay you. I'll pay you.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He was, like, up against – he was, like, in the middle. He wasn't up against my window, but he was in the middle on the passenger side of his car, and I was on the right side. So, like, it was right next – you know what I mean?
So, how did
he got out. He was around.
How did he get in the first place?
So, I said, bro, how did you get in here? Scanned my badge, left.
You didn't give him time to answer?
Am I the asshole?
Wait.
He was like, bro, I'll give you $15. And I just drove away.
You didn't give him time to answer your question?
No, I just started driving when I asked. I was like, bro, how did you get in here?
Yeah.
And he just drove away.
Flipped down your sunglasses. Who do you know here?
I was a little like...
Name 5 brothers.
That is what it felt like. But I was like, you know, like, what harm could I do? Also, it was like making me panic because right across the street, like, I could throw a rock, it would have hit him. Cops,
you should have.
Cops pulled over 2 people. So I was like, all right, worst case scenario, this guy just goes, hey, can you help me in this situation?
Well, what's a cop going to do?
help
He
more
probably
than I
broke and
can.
entered though. Like, I don't know how you get in there without paying. I don't know the dynamics of a parking garage too much, but
No,
so
that
I'm
was
gonna say I don't think you're the asshole. If something
okay.
seems sketchy, I think most men have a natural intuition about when a situation just feels a little bit off.
Right.
For all we know, he could have been
I
a
didn't
member of Al
like
Qaeda. He could have been a Nazi. He could have been
facts.
working for a competing corporation trying to steal your guys' business. Go up there, take the blueprints, whatever it
Yeah.
might be. Do
Thanks.
not want that guy going up in the parking garage.
Yeah, I agree. I stayed alive. That's what I was driving home. I was like, I stayed alive.
Yeah.
So with that,
What do you think? You think you're the asshole?
I do think it was kind of an asshole move, but I do think it would have been weird because like I was also thinking, and this is me overthinking, but if I were to scan him out, I would have had to like get out of my car, walk over to the gate again, scan myself in so I could walk back and scan myself out.
Yeah.
And
Too much
like,
work.
this is just like, what is going on?
I'd rather
Like,
just ruin this guy's day.
I was like, he'll find a way out.
Yeah.
It's never happened. But
That's a good one. But next digesting core question. This one,
last of the day.
not self-induced, but how did people know where to go in medieval times? So think back to something like the Crusades or any of those wars, or even maybe not so, I don't know if that was medieval times or not, but Christopher Columbus finding America, whatever, wherever they were going, how the fuck did they know where they were going without Apple Maps? A lot of people want to say they looked at the sun.
Apple Maps is the worst. Google Maps is better. Waze is the best.
Everybody says Waze. It annoys the piss out of me. Accident up ahead.
I like it. You can set accents to it, and you can record your voice doing it too. Can I record your voice for my Waze?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Oh my god,
I would love that.
That would be the best. I'll do it.
But anyways, a lot of people like to say they looked at the sun, they looked at the stars, they talked to people. Ain't no way. I can't look at the stars and the sun knowing where I'm going right now. And even with all my technology right now, if I flew to India and I went up to somebody and I said, hey, how do I get over there? They're not going to know what I'm saying because they speak Hindu or whatever their language is. So not going to work. How the fuck were they doing that 500 to 1,000 years ago? Chris, take it over.
Yeah, I that's the way that I look at it too. Is like, if I can't do it now, how are they doing it back then? So I can't look at the sun and be like 50 paces to my right, and I'll be more in the distance of where I wanted to go. Because that's what I don't understand. Is like, how do they know? Like, okay, maybe you knew like the sun was this big or this small, and you could trace that with like a little piece of paper that you cut. That like whatever.
Did they even have paper back then?
But they weren't doing that, and there's no way that they could have been like how much diagonal or like side to side from that distance away from the sun. So
they lived in a 1D world
there's
where
no
it was up,
shot.
down, left, or right.
They definitely just like, here's my theory, is instead of like, no, they didn't know where to go. They just knew that they were going to go somewhere, they were going to travel, and as soon as they pulled up on anybody, it was wraps.
They saw somebody that looked different. They're like, "We're fucking you up."
Yeah, like, take us to where you're from, and we're gonna take everything you guys have. And that's probably how it went.
I don't think so. I don't think that any of that happened. My theory on this whole thing, I don't think humans have been around this long.
Whoa,
it's a far-fetched idea.
This guy's going crazy.
Let me lay it out for you. I think humanity has only been around for give or take 400 years. Me and my dad found this YouTube channel, shout out My Lunch Break, it's called, that kind of put us onto this theory. But essentially, humans as we know it have been around for about 400 years. 400 years ago, that's when all of our modern banks have come into place. The Bank of Japan, the Bank of China, the Bank of Germany, the Bank of USA. All modern banks were invented right around the year 1600, right? All these modern governments, that's when they started to take place. And that's when humanity really started to take place in terms of technology and manufacturing and all this stuff that's catapulting us into where we are. But here's the biggest part about the theory. Before the year 1600, the world, as we know it, was inhabited by giants, ranging from average height about 8 feet to 9 feet tall. They had 6 fingers and 6 toes, and they were a very advanced race that built a lot of our architecture that we think that we built just a long time ago. I'll give you some examples. The pyramids.
Wait, real quick.
Continue.
1600s, what types of wars or whatever was going on then?
I mean, that was before like the Civil War. That was before
Right.
the Revolutionary War and all that. I don't know specifically.
That was like it looked more like minus dragons, Game of Thrones wars than like Roman Empire.
Closer. It was before like gunpowder wars, more so. Yeah,
swords and right.
It was closer to that than it was like the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
So, some examples of these though: the pyramids. That's a common one that a lot of people think of. The Capitol building. Think about our Capitol buildings, like the White House, the Lincoln Monument, the Capitol building in Lansing. Do you think, you're in construction, do you think that even with our construction techniques now, we could build that, let alone them building that
that's
hundreds of years ago?
Exactly what I was saying when we went to the Foster the People concert, remember?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is unbelievable that this theater that's when I went to the DIA, I don't know when it was made, but like a lot of the pictures are so old and everything.
They're not.
It's like it's like unbelievable that what people were accomplishing when they did. It makes you think that I personally think they got to a certain point in technology and then bang, something happened and it was like a race back.
Yeah.
We're going back. We're taking 5 steps back for the one step you guys made.
Right. So like pretty much the Syrian summation is that advanced civilization lived before us. They designed all this architecture and everything that we're being told is a lie. You look back at a lot of this stuff, like the Wikipedia pages of these massive churches. Why were they building these churches that were 40 stories tall, insanely difficult to build, would cost so much manpower and labor, which I don't even think that they could build when the town would house like 3,000 people? Why would they be doing that?
Giants.
They couldn't. And one more thing with that, before you get to your point, a lot of names in these Wikipedia pages get repeated. They're just lazy with it. They're lying to us and not even trying. They'll tell you that one guy built 8 different mega churches all across the country in the year 1600.
Well,
like this guy was just going ship to ship to ship in the 1600s when the lifespan was up to 40 years old.
I can answer that one for you.
Well, can you?
It's like you can own a company and the company can be called Joe's Company. And then Joe employs hundreds of people that build all these cities and all these places. And then they go, oh, Joe built all these places.
Do you think Joe's they had that back then?
They built, and yes. This guy had enough money to hire people to do it. No. We're done. The last point I have to make, I'm not letting Joe pee. Joe's going to have to hold his pee.
I have to so bad, but I'll do it for you guys.
We're done.
Okay.
The last point is that, yes, there were giants around.
You agree?
I agree.
6 fingers and 6 toes?
6 fingers, 6 toes. There were giants. I watched an AI video how the pyramids were built. Huge, like 40 feet people up, and they just carried the stones, placed them, and they had like real people. There's only like 2 of them. So that's what I would imagine. Is like there's only like 2
they were
or
just
3
delegating.
People. They just like never stop growing. Never stop. Same pace, always pacing the same thing. Damn. And you did that, you get up there. Basically, that's it. You know what I mean? And I think that could be the reason they were so advanced and they never happened.
They could build that shit. That's actually a good question. I've always been very curious. Why do we have an upper threshold to our growing? Why does our hair stop at a certain length? Why do our bodies stop at a certain point? How do our bodies know, and why is that?
Yeah, we should never stop.
Like, why do we just grow until a certain point? That makes no sense.
We should always keep growing, which is just like how our YouTube videos should keep growing.
Great
just
segue.
Like how our fucking...
Great segue.
Our segments should keep going. And we love you guys. We thank you guys. Again, we're now at a point where you guys are the real fans. And we appreciate you.
You guys know us better than anyone else.
Merch to come. We're working on hats. Tell us if you want black or white. I will say new video styles to come, new ideas. We're just going to be posting a lot. Keep watching our stuff. We're going to keep going. We love you. Thank you.
Love you guys. Peace.